Right, we're back. FooR Podcast. Me, Gavin Ford. Bitrate.
Hello.
Alex. Did we say Alex's full name, or we just go with Alex? That's how you want to be referred to?
Why do we have to have this every time?
I don't know, because we didn't clear it up last time. I just started reading off your pseudonyms.
You know me.
Alex Churton, and in the corner,
with
me as always.
this time, yeah.
With me as always. Right, so you guys just come back from New York, but not at the same time. Was it? You've just literally come back last few days.
Yeah, like a week ago.
I mean, maybe at the same time, Chris.
We weren't. I don't think so. I was at.
I saw you.
Yeah, I actually ignored him quite a lot.
It's not that. Way.
You're both there for different reasons. I imagine, unless you went together.
It would be weird if we just went for exactly the same reason to go and see my brother, who's not his brother. That works. Imagine him just turning up. I haven't seen him in years before we've done this anyway. What, Stems, what are you doing here? Same as you.
Yeah.
Go see your brother.
Okay.
You right? Which brother was it?
Nice one. Tom.
Oh, Tom is, yeah. Anyway, that joke's ruined. I don't know the brother's name. So how was New York?
Who?
You
go.
I went before you. Do you want to do the most recent or?
No, go in chronological order of which.
Brother, where did you go?
I've been before. This is the second time I went.
Okay. Let's show off.
Well, no, there were two different trips. Is what I'm saying.
Tell me about.
So the first time was a music thing. Like I went. Have you ever heard of the CMJ?
No.
It's like a music festival they do for predominantly students, where they do all these panels. And you go out there and you sort of attend these panels from industry professionals. It's a bit like, I kind of like Great Escape in Brighton, but it's in New York, so obviously better. Nothing wrong with Brighton. Very lovely when it's sunny, tough when it's windy.
Yeah,
it
is.
But it was amazing. Went out there when we were at uni. It was great. We saw panels in the daytime, all these industry people, and then went to gigs every night of the week, which is amazing. And like New York for live music is
Did
incredible.
you play out there at all?
No, I did not.
No.
I just enjoyed myself quite a lot.
Nice.
But I would love to. But it wasn't really a club kind of thing. It was more live music and all that sort of stuff. But the live music venues are absolutely amazing. Like, remember we went to this one called Cake Shop, which was, you go in, they've got like a big coffee machine, then all these homemade cakes. It's a very tiny little place. Little record store at the back, no bigger than the room we're in right now, second-hand record store. Downstairs, the diviest little venue you've ever seen in your life. But I loved it.
I do find
It's
that I found that quite about New York, really, because my experience was different, because I was going over there to see my brother who lives in Brooklyn. So we just kind of.
What does he do over there?
He's a banker. He's a director of Credit Suisse, so he's got cash to afford to pay for me to go out there and do stuff. So it's
And
black. Yeah, and he could have done. If you want to go there for that reason, it's not a bad reason. I just went out there, and it was good because like I too been out there twice. No, but I went out there for my 30th birthday 2 weeks ago. But no, I went out there for my 30th birthday. And that was quite touristy. We went over there for like 3-4 days, whatever. So we did a helicopter thing around the Empire State Building and Statue of Liberty sort of thing, and Times Square and all those things there, and that was good. But this time it was nice because it was cool just to sort of like lounge around Brooklyn, really, and but one thing I do find about like New York, and again my brother was saying this, is like a lot of places there, like, we go to some like nice restaurants, but even like the nicest restaurants, some of them don't look particularly like amazing, but the food's like just incredible. One thing they do know how to do is food. Definitely. Like over there, it's ridiculous. So it was nice. We just kicked back, and I was over there for 5 days, and it was good. It was good to catch up with my brother anyway, and just like I say, just not worry about having to kind of go and do touristy bits. We had a good day on a Saturday. We just went to we went for like, he sort of lined up. My brother's good like that. He like lined up. He was like, right, for breakfast we're going to go here. Like we're going to like be drinking mimosas and things like that. And then we went on to this other place for this ice cream. Then we went to this wine tasting place that they found like just in downtown Brooklyn or somewhere. And like, it's just an incredible thing. And you see so much over there that you think, oh, that'd be really good if it was over here. You know what I mean?
I felt like I was in the busy. I was in Brooklyn this year, but when I went for the touristy thing, and then sort of when I did the sightseeing stuff this year, I felt like I was walking on a movie set. A lot of the time, I was in the hub of it, Times Square-esque, and anywhere Manhattan-wise, and with all these high rises around you, all these skyscrapers. I just thought I was on a movie set. It was incredible. It was hard to take it in because I was
Yeah,
just looking around
it is
me.
nice
Yeah,
though,
fun.
isn't it? You
Yeah.
kind of like, I mean, it's a shame because I've got some, got pictures. I'm sure you have, and you kind of want to go, look, this is what I was looking at here, but obviously it doesn't really like work this way. But it is crazy. I mean, like we walked over Brooklyn Bridge and then just dipped into Manhattan to this bar called the Dubliner over there, and we were just it was just a really good day. Do you know what I mean? The weather was good, and it was just one of those days that you look back on and go, that was just good. But it was a bit of prior preparation. Do you know what I mean? So he'd sort of like figured out what to go and do, up to a certain level of drinks, and then you kind of do whatever. But yeah, no, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. What about you, Ak? Where did you go? You come back?
I went, a year and a half. I went Christmas a year and a half ago, and I stayed on Times Square. I didn't really venture out to Brooklyn much, to be honest with you. I pretty much crammed in all the tourist things, and
It must be hectic just staying on Times Square though.
it
That
was
So
at
much to
night. I
see.
mean, I was in a hotel. You just could hear car horns all through the night. It was bad. Like,
Yeah.
So would you recommend doing the tourist things? You all done them, but
Yeah,
you all
I-
sort of say it a bit. I
you
just
got
did
to,
like
I think you got to, haven't you? It's
Like-
like it's like going to London, isn't it? You
Yeah,
just if
yeah,
you
yeah.
haven't been there, if you haven't been there, if you're from somewhere else, you're going to go.
Have you done the tourist things in London?
No, but that's
Have
because
you?
I think that's. Cause,
Not really.
but I think that's because we live.
we've done certain.
How many times you go to the New Forest? Do you know what I mean?
I
Because
think we take it for granted quite
when
a
things
bit.
are on your
Yeah.
doorstep, that's England though, isn't it? How many people turn around there and go, "Oh, there's nothing to do ever around here," and you go, "You've got the forest there. You're 20 minutes from a beach here. You this, and you just kind of go, yeah, but."
Yeah, because I had a friend come down from Manchester, never been to London. They're genuinely excited about it,
Right.
and we're going to do all the. We didn't do any of the tourist attractions. We're going to
Drink.
do all of them. Like
Just
it feel-
drink.
Felt like on holiday. I was like, I feel like I'm on holiday thing. We're going to do all these attractions. Didn't do any of them. Not one attraction. The Shard. Is that that's not an attraction?
Yeah, no, it is.
that is
Going
an
up,
attraction.
like going up there and having a meal now is like
Yeah.
a thing, isn't it? Like
But that's same as
it's
like
very like a datey thing to do now.
same
Well,
as
yeah,
like
it
the.
wasn't on a date. But Chris, you went to New York. But back to New York, from London to New York. You went there for WrestleMania the second time.
Yeah,
didn't
so
you?
that's why I sort of mentioned about the first thing was a music thing.
Yeah.
It's a very different reason why I went back this year. And I've been to WrestleMania before, and I sort of got invited back by a bunch of Scottish people that I know. I say the reason why I mentioned they're Scottish is because
They are.
they're in the middle. They were, and they're just like when you're in New York, they're so obviously Scottish.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because I don't think anyone really cares about an English accent in New York. I think they're numb to it a lot of the time, especially in the more touristy parts. Brooklyn, I think people were sort of, they raise an eyebrow if I was in a shop and stuff like that.
But in Manhattan, you have people over there like doing working seasons as well. So
Right.
there's a lot of kind of people over there like Irish and
But
English
a thick
which-
Scottish accent
Yeah.
will get you noticed. So I was with like about 7 people, about 5 of them are Scottish, and I love them to pieces, but it got us quite noticed, right? So we're staying in Brooklyn. We're staying in an apartment in a place called Non-Strand Avenue, on this big long street called Fulton Street. It's not really a street, it's more like a road that goes on for miles.
Yeah.
Great, loved it. I was doing what you did, like sort of really in the heart of Brooklyn, sort of experiencing that. And one night, second night we're out there, we go down to this 24-hour convenience store directly below the apartment, which was a godsend. Anyway, me and my friend Ollie, he's a very big guy, like sort of obviously Scottish with his accent, very, very, very thick and stuff. And we're in the shop just picking some crisps, doing like a really British thing to do, like getting some snacks, whatever like that. But the selection's not great, I'll be honest. And so we've taken our time. We took a bit too long. Not that matters, but we then got into this situation where this dude comes in, this black guy comes in, and he's talking to himself. But he's not talking to himself about nothing. He's talking to himself about what he's seeing in the world, right? And I only noticed this because he started talking about us. And like, it's a tiny little shop. It's really tiny. And he comes in and he starts barking at the guy at the counter. And he starts going, "Oh, what you doing, man? Letting these crackers up in here. These crackers taking over, man." And I was like, and I look at my mate Ollie and I think we're the crackers. And he looks at me and he's like, yeah. I was like, right, cool.
Sure, he wasn't referring to the crisp selection.
Right, yeah. It was not that good. If there would have been plentiful crisp selection, I might have been confused. And
Said the choice was limited.
so I looked at him and I was like, right, is he going to come out? And sure enough, the guy came over to us. Then he started like pointing at us, and I was like, oh, right, we need to go. Second night out there, was like, right, okay. Another guy who was in there, right, who was already quite annoyed that he had to spend over $5 on his card. So you can imagine he's already vexed up, right? Anyway, he called him out, this other guy, called him out of the shop, and then I'm in the middle of it. I'm stuck in this tiny little convenience store in Brooklyn. I got nowhere to go. They're having a ruck outside the shop. I'm just like,
if anything, it was inconvenient.
right. So
Just saying.
priorities in order. Got my crisps. Do you know what I mean? Get what I came for.
Nothing stopping.
You know what I mean? They're having a fight outside. Don't worry about that. Got my crisps. But now I've got to leave. Ollie's already left, by the way, my friend. He's been and gone. I looked around and I was like, how are we going to get out of this one? Oh, you've already got out of this one.
He'd already worked that out.
Yeah, he'd already gone. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of stuck. Because every time I went to the front door to go, they'd come closer to the front door with their little sort of standoff. And I was like, okay, cool. And then just as I was on the lookout, this woman came into the shop with a tiny little dog. And she didn't care what was going on. She had no business what was going on. Anyway, comes in with her tiny little dog. And I've never seen a 180 turn from what was a fight, with these two guys going at each other, to one of the guys just turning around going, ooh, little doggy. I literally zoomed out that shop.
That's my window.
It was like that. It was amazing just to see him. I say, oh, doggy. And it was great. So that was my second night in Brooklyn. I thought, right, okay, we're here. And then on the third day, we saw a Grand Theft Auto situation where two cars sort of stopped in the middle of the street at each other because one of them cut one of them off. Yeah. And rather than have just the altercation and carry on going, one car carried on going, the other car reversed to keep up with him 200 metres down the road. And I was like, oh, so that's happening. And in the middle of the day, did a U in the middle of the road and sped after him.
Did you two see any
I mostly just got drunk.
So you were causing the crime. That was probably you reversing in the car.
Where's the crisp shop?
There's that little doggy gone.
Not cheap to drink over there.
No,
it wasn't really cheap to drink over there. I mean, I know
drinking with Scottish people though.
No, it was cheap to drink at home.
Sweeping.
You know, you can get go out and buy a bottle of vodka.
Yeah,
New York drinking Buckfast.
No. They love Iron Brew though. That is stereotypically about that's still true. They love Iron Brew.
My dad drinks
fiercely
Buckfast,
proud of it as well.
Yeah, which is really weird because only two people I kind of know that really sort of really into it. It's like Scottish rappers and my dad. Went in there, was around the house the other day and I opened his cupboard and this has got nothing to do with New York, but and I opened it and it's got a big bottle of Bucky in there and I was like, that's what it's notoriously synonymous with, like kind of youth. Aggravated culture in Scotland, like Bucky.
Well, they make it in Devon. They make it in monks. Make it in Devon.
They make it from Buckfast Abbey. I'll tell you where they make it, Chris.
Do you know, by the way, I just I was born today. Do you know what today is?
What?
Buckfast Abbey Day. No,
it's National Buckfast Day.
No way.
Yes. 100%.
You're trying to out Buckfast me.
Hey, you want to give it off with the Buckfast facts, mate?
I'm gonna Buckfast fact
battle
ever
battle.
And back to you, Alex.
8 Mile. I was born not far from Buckfast Abbey. I'm gonna walk my ass across 8 Mile.
Back to Buckfast.
My father was a monk.
But there you go. Anyway, that's nothing to do with New York, but. That was that's true.
Remember the story, the Buckfast story with the hardcore DJs?
What? No. What?
I don't. When we first, when we first started, we made hardcore music, and there was a DJ.
Don't include me in that.
Well, you made some hardcore
what?
records.
Shut up.
If you would,
whatever.
We'll put them on SoundCloud for you to hear.
Yeah, if you could.
Also, a live recording of you emceeing at our first hardcore gig, getting drunk and saying.
Well, this
is amazing.
Well, this is worth coming to. Doing these podcasts, we're just outing people, are we? We're just outing people. Let me see what I've got on you. Hang on a minute.
No, wait a minute, Ella. Let's tell a Buckfast story. Let's go off.
I'm thinking now that I've got so much.
So there's a hardcore DJ called Scott Brown.
Used to wear Rockport boots. Sorry. Spiteful.
Just little Tottenham comments dropping in there. You probably had Rockport boots as well, if you from Tottenham.
I didn't have
standard issue.
You used to have that tight boss cap as well, didn't you? Do you remember that? Boss cap. He's the number one. Right, anyway, go on. No, we can't go. It's just stupid, isn't it?
Scott Brown was a hardcore DJ, and obviously he's from Scotland. Scott Brown, clever name. Was his name actually Scott?
Well, I think it's Scotland Brown.
I think it was Scotland.
Really?
I always assumed it was Scotland Brown.
Did you? I just thought it might just be Scott.
His full name was Scotland. Scotland Brown. That's the weirdest name in the world.
Hey, he's from Scotland. What should we call him? Scott. Like, that was your thinking? By that reckoning, wouldn't all male sort of like people from Scotland be called Scott then?
I don't know. I've never been.
Do you assume that anyone called Scott
I've never been.
is either called Scotland or from Scotland? This is brilliant.
I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was a nickname. It might be like I don't know.
I only found out the fish fingers had real fish in them when I was 15. Different story. I don't know, but my mum told me that it wasn't real fish when I was little, and I just obviously never thought about it until one day I was 15. I was eating a fish finger, and I turned around to her and said, "Well, what the fuck else was it going to be then?" She was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh, no, nothing." From when I was 4. Anyway, so we digress. Go back to the Buckfast story of Scotland Brown.
So yeah, Scotland Brown. Obviously, drink Buckfast, and he brings his gigs. He's like, "Hey, this is the fucking, this is the stuff. This, eh?" And there was a pair
From Nigeria.
There was a pair of I won't say the names, but there was a pair of hardcore DJs that DJed together. It's quite easy to work out. I think there was.
If he was from Nigeria, it'd be called Nigel.
Yes.
Yes. Look at the
Yeah.
And he went back. Yeah. He went back nearer to him.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
That's it. You did know. Oh, brilliant. Now we're all thinking of places and other names. Oh, dead air. Oh, Brian, we're from Briansville. Go on.
So
It's the stuff that.
there was two hardcore DJs that DJed together, and he's saying about this stuff and how powerful this Buckfast is. And one of them was like, nah, it can't be that. It'd be, I'll drink this, and he just necked this whole bottle. Real like, this is nothing. I'll show you how to drink. You Scottish can't drink. I'll neck this whole bottle. You're watching him and he's fine. And like watching him, we think, what are you saying? Was he winding him up at it? So he goes, no. He goes, I've never seen it. He's just literally just DJing like normal. Not a problem. Not a care in the world. And all of a sudden, he's just looking at the decks and he puts the crossfader in the middle. The most out of time mix you've ever heard in your life, and he's just looking at it like this. Not a thing, and his DJ partner's looking at him like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? This is." And he's like,
Is it Force and Styles?
"Don't know." So Styles, he's looking at him like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, I think he falls over. They take him out of the club. He's in a bad way. So he's DJ, and somebody goes, "Look, you better go check on him. He was in a bad way. He's outside. Get fish." Go outside. There's a big circle of people around the club, like looking around. What's going on here? Forcey's bet the doorman he could do more press ups than him. There's this doorman going like 100. The Forcey's just on the floor, not even moving. Just like that. There's this doorman like that. So that's my Buckfast story. I don't think I've ever drunk. Have you ever drunk it? Have you ever drunk it?
Yeah, quite a lot.
I've got a good press-up story though. do you remember? This is from
I thought Aki was saying you had a Buckfast story.
Oh, no.
Have you ever drunk it?
I've never drunk it. No.
Well, that's you done then. So, do you remember Mo? I think Mo Cargbo used to be the doorman at the Rhino, right? I used to see him a bit because he used to be friends with a guy called Keith Cook that I used to live with. Keith Cook at Cook's.
You used to live with a guy called Keith Cook in a place called Cook's House on Cook Street.
Was he a cook?
And he wasn't. No, wasn't he?
Oh.
He was a restaurant.
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah,
he was a cook as well.
Yeah, he was.
Amazing.
Was he born in the kitchen by chance?
but someone
with the
from
theme.
Scotland being called Scott's really unbelievable. But Keith Cook being a cook. Yeah, of course he is, Gav. Right, carry on. Yeah.
Anyway, so one day we went to the pub. What's that? You remember the firehouse? What's it called now? It's one of the pubs.
Still.
It's still the
Yeah,
firehouse.
it's they're changing it into flats and stuff.
Right,
Yeah,
because
it's still a firehouse.
it wasn't a firehouse when we went. It was something else, but it's never been like a popular haunt. But for some reason we were up there. And I used to take the piss just because obviously Mo was ripped. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was like proper, and he was like a kickboxing champion. He was just properly like, he just looked like he worked out every minute of the day. And I was just like, "If you yourself, give you a press up competition." So anyway, I've gone down, done like 30 or something like that. Just as he goes in, the geezer comes upstairs and goes, "Right, that's time, guys. You got to get out now." I said, "Beat you." He's like, "Nah." Well, prove it. Got him on a technicality. We'll never know. We'll just never know.
I think you would have taken it.
Of course.
Any other New York story? Did anything else happen in New York? Anything else we
really
should know about New York before we go?
No.
What was WrestleMania like?
Incredible. Like, we went to MetLife Stadium for the thing. You're there for 7 hours. I mean, you've got to be a fan of it, obviously.
Yeah, I was a bit weird.
This
is really shit.
What come to New York for?
But even if you're not like, if you're sort of like indifferent to it, just being, I think anywhere, if you're around that many people that are into something, 70,000, 80,000 people, you're gonna it's gonna rub off on you a bit. Do you know what I mean? So like, well, no, it's.
No need, we all knew it was coming.
I went to it like when I was little, when I was like 16. Went to a drum and bass rave at Sidewinder, Northampton. Do you remember Milton Keynes?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Remember
Sanctuary and
Sanctuary, yeah.
Rollers.
I wasn't a massive drum and bass fan. I mean, I like it a lot more now, but back then I was more like garage. That's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, went with all my brother and his mates and stuff like that. I was just drinking water all night, but it was around 3,000, 4,000 people that all loved it, and you just like anything like that, mass group of people, you're gonna love it anyway.
Yeah.
And so that's where it was just like the atmosphere was just electric. It was insane. And what they do whenever they go anywhere, whenever they take over an American city, they do it for a week. It's not just a day. It's like the whole city is devoted to that one event. Do you know what I mean?
But I think WrestleMania is a big enough event that you would go, even if you sort of. It's a big
You
enough.
used to like wrestling.
I used to, yeah.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm not making it up, am I?
No, I used to like. I liked it.
Not I'm disparaging you. I'm just saying you did. Yeah, I
Up
think.
until when The Rock, I like The Rock. I think after The Rock left, I think that was, I don't know how long ago.
Could you ever smell what he was cooking?
Keith
I
could.
personally could. Keith could. The Rock was always in there. But there you go. Yeah.
Right, cool. Well,
But yeah, amazing experience. But I would say, go to New York, do all the touristy stuff, but do the other side of it as well. Like go and maybe do the touristy stuff. But if you don't,
what is the top three
Times Square,
touristy bits?
Statue of Liberty.
well, say Statue of
Empire
Liberty,
State
but Statue
Building.
of Liberty, you end up just going on a ferry and passing
Yeah.
by. But, oh, there she is.
Well, you can do a
Empire
helicopter ride
State.
around- that's
Oh,
fine, that's
oh,
Empire
okay.
Empire State.
Yeah,
Empire
you could-
State.
You can do the helicopter ride around it.
Why not? Why would you not?
So Empire. Aki, what's your top? We don't have to come up with collective. Aki's top three is.
Yeah, top three.
Empire State.
Yeah.
Copying.
Fifth Avenue.
Fifth Avenue.
And then
You fail.
Central
two.
Park.
Central Park.
You got to go try
Yeah,
Central Park.
Central
Yeah.
Park's
Is that
Yeah.
similar top three? Anything we missed out?
But again, it depends on what you personally like. I was quite into like shops and things like that, so I was going out
Did
to
you
find like
Did you go
Babe
to
and
Grand
H
Zero?
store
That
and
was quite an eerie
things.
place.
Well, do you know what the funny thing is? Actually,
Yeah.
the first time I went there, we had this kind of list of things to do, and obviously, like obviously that disaster had happened a few years before, and so we stayed in the Hilton in Greenwich Village. Is it Greenwich Village? Yeah, I think it. And like, so on the list of things to do was go and visit Ground Zero. So this I went with Claire years ago, right? And we're in our apartment, or in our hotel room. Opened the curtains, and it's there, and we were like, oh, well, that's that one done. That's ticked off there because it wasn't Ground Zero as it is now.
Right.
It was literally still.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a building. It was a building site because so there was nothing to see apart from like a building site, but you still kind of. And actually, if you look at so now when I see footage of the planes going in, you can see the sort of like the Hilton hotel which is there. And I'll tell you what, it gives you perspective of how big it was because the Hilton was big, like as it is. But then you sort of see the Hilton, and it's like, not there, comparison to that. You just think, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The weird thing for me is that I went to the nearest fire station, the one that would have been closest to where it all happened, and just standing by that fire station, as in looking up where they should have been. That's eerie.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Yeah, it's very
and trying
eerie.
to sort of imagine working. I mean, I can't imagine ever being a firefighter unless you watch the film Backdraft. Then you definitely can imagine yourself being a firefighter.
Great film.
Amazing
Big film.
But just standing there going, imagine being there on that
It's
day,
unreal,
just
isn't it?
watching that in front of me. What they've done now is really beautiful and stuff. They've made two big, like sort of
There's
square
lights.
infinity pools and
Yeah.
stuff.
Infinity
they've got,
pools,
yeah.
they light up at night, doesn't it?
Not so keen on the shopping centre that's gone next to it.
Westfield.
Yeah.
There's a Westfield.
There's a Westfields right
Which is
there
a-
next to it.
Every
Yeah.
every cloud has a silver lining
Like,
of commercialism.
Yeah, I was-
Loads of people are going to sit here. Donuts. Anyone?
Yeah.
it's a bit like
It's a bit
okay.
weird. They've got Westfields literally opposite them.
The memorials are beautiful. It's
Yeah.
really lovely, quite peaceful
Yeah.
and stuff, and people seem to be like really like
Yeah.
respectful of it all and
Yeah,
stuff. as well.
definitely.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think it is one of those things that you are kind of, because that's probably not to end this on a real downer, but like that was one of the. Do you remember? Because I was flying out to Ibiza the next day. Do you remember this? And we were like, I was living in the Polygon, so it must have been around the record shop days.
Yeah. We had that where that happened when we were in the record shop there, 9/11.
And then like, but I also remember just seeing it, and it was just a real weird time, wasn't it, when that all happened, and it was like just words. Everyone was just like, "What the fuck has just like gone on, and everyone was just like, that's like mental, crazy stuff.
But when you go out there and you see the size of the buildings, you think these two buildings towered these
that's
buildings.
What I mean.
You're
Yeah,
like,
that's,
oh
that's
my
exactly
god, this
you
was
just think this is
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There you go.
So,
But there's one thing, just sort of not to finish on 9/11, but just other things to see in the city. By the way,
Yeah.
If you get a chance, just go and see like the movie stuff, like where they shot stuff.
Oh yeah, because you went to the Ghostbusters.
That's something that I wanted to. I do want to do.
You went to the Ghostbusters building, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to the Ghostbusters building,
that.
which they saved, by the way. I think that was going to be sort of knocked down.
Oh, I read
the
something like that,
crowdfunding
yeah.
thing saved it, which is great. It's still there. And what you find is that I went at like 2 in the afternoon, no one's around because it's not like a tour thing. But then after me, you just watch every 20, 30 seconds. There's another me coming along, just sort of taking a photo.
Yeah, I saw some,
which is really nice.
With the
Saw the outside.
I
saw the outside of the Friends building. You know, the one where they always pan to in Friends.
Oh yeah.
And so I stood out there just like looking. I was like, so I did this video like a little geek, and I went down, 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 like doing it from the show.
Yeah.
And then these 2 girls behind me were just like, "You alright, mate?" Delete.
Yeah,
I'm fine. I'm saying go see Ghostbusters.
you've got to see wrestling now. Shut up.
But there's loads to see.
New Jersey's close to New York, isn't it? 'Cause New Jersey can do the Sopranos tour, can't you? And the actual guy from the Sopranos takes you around the tour.
One thing, one thing I did plan to do. I was going to do a hip hop tour around there because you do these hip hop tours like where it take you through Cedric Ave,
Yeah.
all these places that are famous, for being in the evolution of hip hop sort of thing. But literally they were doing it like it was done on like a Friday. Oh no, I needed to find something to do on a Friday because I was on my own Friday. So I was trying to find something to do on a Friday, but they were doing it was like, oh, we've got them on a Thursday or a Saturday, whatever. So I just couldn't find it. So that was one thing that I really did want to do because obviously being a hip hop fan, whatever, it would have been quite cool to do, but unfortunately didn't. But I've seen other people do them, and it's quite interesting.
Yeah, that would be good to do.
cool.
So yeah, that's New York. If we
Wrapped.
missed any, if you agree, if we missed out any of the tourist attractions, put them in the comments. And when Alex goes back, or Chris, or Aki goes back, or maybe I'll go for the first
I
time.
think you need to
should
go,
go.
Gav.
I should.
It
It does sound good. It does sound good.
It's
better than
incredible.
good.
It's
Or if
unreal.
you've got any Buckfast stories or anything at all, put them in the comments.
Any pictures of my dad.
Or any pictures of Alex's dad, please send them through. Or any Buckfast facts, just in case these two get another little Buckfast fact rally going.
Or if you've got anybody that's got weird names, good.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone that's got like my old teacher, my pottery teacher, like,
Mr. Potter, was he?
No, Mrs. Potter. Mrs. Potter. So it does happen. It does happen.
Yeah,
and I wonder what led that. Well, the name. I wonder if you thought.
Did what come first, the name or the occupation?
Yeah. It's
With
weird.
great pottery comes great responsibility.
Nice. That's a perfect way to end.
But yeah, thank you very much. See you soon.